Welcome to Intro to Programming. This is Lesson 3, and we're going to be doing arithmetic. This is all pretty self-explanatory, but we're just going to go through it real quick just so you know what to expect when doing any math in Python. So we're going to use a couple libraries. Libraries are a set of pre-written code that you can use to speed up your coding time. We'll be using these later in the file. So the first thing we'd want to do is import math and import NumPy. But the thing is, NumPy is a third-party app, so you actually need to install it. So for both Mac and PC and Windows, Mac and Windows, sorry, you're going to want to, so for Mac, you're just going to open the terminal, and for PC, you're going to open PowerShell, and you're going to try pip3 install NumPy. If that doesn't work, try pip, just pip by itself. But you're going to run that and it's going to do its thing. I already have it installed, so it's going to let you know if it does that. If it says something about it not being a valid command or something like that, especially on Windows, what you're going to want to do is you're going to run this long command here all the way to the end. Make sure and copy that from the file that you're following along with and paste that into PowerShell. Big difference there. You want that in PowerShell and you want it to do its thing. If for some reason it's still not working, reach out to me and we will get that squared away. So now that we've got NumPy installed, we're going to go ahead and import math and import NumPy at the top of our file. All right, so we learned about the print function and that you need to use it to see the output of your code. It's not entirely true. You can go to the shell and type in Python 3 and enter your code there and it will display as well. For most situations, though, unless you're doing a quick calculation, you probably want to have your code in a file and then executed. So what I'm talking about, you can open your shell or terminal or PowerShell, and you could type in Python 3, and you could do something like 3 plus 3. Whoops. There we go, and it'll give us the result instead of having to do print 3 plus 3, which will also give us 6. To exit the Python shell, you'll type exit, but with these parentheses, and then that'll get you out of there. All right. So let's go over these real quick, these calculations real quick. So it's pretty easy to understand how math, subtraction, multiplication, and division all work. Let's see here. I'm going to do that and that. So in this case, you could just print 1 plus 2, and that'll give you 3. 3 minus 2, that'll give you 1. 3 times 2, that'll give you 6. And 3 divided by 2 is obviously 1.5. So there you go. And I don't want the terminal open right now, just to actually, let's go ahead and do that real quick. And I want to bring it down, like right there. There we go. Now it's out of our way, but we can still see it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and comment those out. And then let's look at exponents. So For exponents, you just use the multiplication 2 times, and that will give you your exponent. Let's save it and run it, and that will give you 9. The modulus operator, let's go ahead and comment that out. There we go, modulus. Or the modulo, I think is what it's called, modulo operator. But at any rate, it divides numbers by each other and then returns the remainder, which is really handy, and it'll be handy in an assignment we have coming up. Let's go ahead and save it and run it. All right, and we get 3 as our remainder. Let's go ahead and comment you out. So floor division is the same as division, but it drops the decimal. It's the same as math.floor. So if we were to use the math library in this instance, we could. There we go. And then if we do that and run it, we get 3 because 4 goes into 15 3 times. All right. Order of operations. Python does follow the order of operations, which is useful. All right. Whoops, there we go. All right, so the math library is a collection of useful mathematical functions. The same is true for the NumPy library. NumPy is used more in scientific computing. I believe NumPy has everything the math library has, plus more. The thing is, NumPy is a third-party library, and the math library comes with Python, so that might be something you have to consider when creating your code, is if you want to be able to support it natively, or if you want users to have to download an additional library to go with it. So let's take a look at these. So math.square root of 4, and I should have picked a bigger number. Let's try that. Oops. 16. There we go. And run it. And we get 4 on each of them, as you would expect. All right. Math.py. Let's go ahead and close the parentheses on that and run it. And we get pi with the first 10 or so digits. Also useful if you need to calculate the radius of something. And another thing you can do addition in math and NumPy as well. In this case, you would just do print numpy.add and then the 2 numbers that you want to add. Actually, is it only 2 numbers? Can I do 3? Nope, it's got to be 2. All right. So that's pretty much it for arithmetic. Like I said, it's all pretty easy. I have an extra parenthesis here. I do not need that. Okay, let's take a look at the exercise for this week, and then we'll look at lesson 2's exercise so you can verify whether you got it working correctly. So you're going to print the square root of 8 plus the square root of 16 using the math library. So make sure you use that math library. And yeah, just make sure you're able to print that out, and we will give that a go. Let's take a look at the, oops. Well, this might be a good thing for you to see I have GitHub desktop on my computer here, and then we can add a new repository or an existing repository. We can clone it, and we want, where did it go? Ah, there it is. From lesson 2. All right, open in VS Code. All right, here, let's do that. And there we go. Yeah, it opened in a new window. Okay, so the thing was to print out race car and then print out just the word car by printing out the correct range of the variables. Okay, so let's do that real quick. Let's see, variable x is equal to race car, print x, and then our range is 4 to the end. I believe that's correct anyway. Let's run it. There we go. We get car. All right, so your code should look something like this. If you have any trouble, please let me know. So that's going to be it for this episode. I'll see you guys in lesson 4.